We live?
We're live. What's up, dude?
Too much. Nice to have you hosting for once.
Yeah, I'm hosting. I'm checking out my little connection for OBS. Some little tinges of yellow going on, but seems like it's stable. I'm back on camera. Got my computer quasi set up. This will probably be how I'm set up for the next couple weeks. And we are like, if I had to give a percentage for how far we've progressed in the house right now, I think we're probably at like 75%, 75, 80% of the way through. Like, we got my daughter's room together. We got downstairs room is all of those are set. We are finishing up our bedroom, and then the office is like, it got cleaned. And basically the desk, because there's going to be two desks in here. It's going to be my desk. Christy's desk is actually going to be on this wall behind me. So she'll be sometimes behind me, maybe when I'm streaming or whatever. And my desk will be in this corner where I'm at. But when I get that all situated, then I think we'll be at 100%. But I'm getting close. I'm getting close, man. I'm just happy to be back. I'm on my computer. Like, it worked when I booted it up. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. I was kind of nervous that, yeah, I thought it was going to kind of get jacked up. What's up, guys, in the chat? I got both my monitors. I can see the chat. I can see you. I can see the notes. It's been like 8 weeks. No joke.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We've done like 8 shows, and I've had just terrible setup. So I'm happy to be able to get back into things. I'm thinking about doing a stream after the show, but I don't know what I would play.
Just in time, by the way. Just in time.
I know.
This Time Warner decided this week they wanted to fuck with me for a bit, you know? So, just in time.
Yeah, so weekend. Diggler said we out of poverty mode. Basically. That's why I had to get that Love So-So on. Anyway, we got our weekend gaming. We are Frag Logic episode 76. We're so close, Colin. 24 more to go. We're there. 100.
Right.
We got our normal lineup. We're going to talk about weekend stuff, weekend gaming stuff. I was still on mobile. I don't have my Xbox One set up. We actually just got our... Man, I got to take you guys on a tour when there's no boxes around, when Christy approves, so you guys can see it. It's pretty dope, but nothing is set up. She has the Wii U set up, actually. That is set up right now, but we haven't played anything since we moved into the house, pretty much. So I played Brave Frontier and Ingress. Have you guys heard of Ingress? Colin didn't hear about it.
No,
because it wasn't on iOS. It just came out on iOS. Can we get Arctic on Thunder Machine? So I'm about to boot up Ingress for you guys, so you guys can see what it looks like. But it's a game from Google, I think. Polygon released this article.
Acquiring position. Downloading latest intel package.
Oh, you guys can hear it.
It's been 150.
How long has it been?
Hours since your last login.
151 hours.
I was beginning to think you didn't like me.
Oh, I like you. Don't worry.
Wow.
Oh, that's intense. Here's the article. Here's the game.
XM reserves 76%.
So basically, it's tracking my position, right? So it's like an augmented reality type thing. And so there's these portals in the world that you have to like close or attack or something like that. And there's 2 factions. There's like the dark side or whatever, and the light side, I guess, something like that. And so, like, I guess the objective is to like get more portals closed or in your possession than the other team. Meanwhile, there's like this globalization filter, right? So you can get like global, you can get region, you can get like within 5. I want to say 5 kilometers of you might be the closest. And it shows all the people that are playing this game. It's really cool. And someone at Epic actually showed this app to me and was like, hey, you should check this out. And so we had a portal sitting right at the front door of Epic Games And so I just went over and walked to it, and I was like, oh yeah, there's a portal just sitting right there. So
To be clear, there's not actually portals.
there's not actually portals. It's augmented reality. So in the app, like if I was to look up like around me, I would see the portal on the app on my phone. And I believe the portals are positioned around monuments or special sites within each location, like your city or whatever. So like if we were in Washington, D.C. right now, I'd probably be a ton of portals all around the Capitol. So, I mean, it's a cool app. It's definitely a lot different. And it's what I've been kind of checking out. Again, it was last week or whatever that I looked at it. So, it's cool. It's cool. That's about it.
Probably only really interesting in an active city.
What's that supposed to mean?
I'm saying like you're out in Podunk, North Dakota, then probably not gonna have as much fun with it.
Why you got to talk about there's landmarks in North Dakota.
There's a few. Not very many. It's probably like 95% Podunk.
I read like North Dakota is on a boom because of oil, I think. Why you hating, Colin?
Yeah, because they're building pipes.
Why you hating?
Just saying.
They're on that. North Dakota's the new gold rush right now.
Like the augmented reality stuff doesn't work when there's no one else playing your augmented reality.
This dude be hating.
Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. I played a real game.
Oh, okay.
I played a real game over the past week. Been playing some Dota. And I think that's it.
It's a real man's game. Dota.
It's just a real game.
Okay.
Yeah, I played some Dota. Leave on Thursday to go to the International.
Yes. I think we all expect update. Are you going to be back next week for the show?
Yeah, I fly back Monday morning. So I'll be
Ooh,
back.
you're going to be out of it.
Yeah, it's fucking 5:30 a.m. flight.
You're going to be out of it.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to Gamescom. I'll be in Germany during that week. It's August 15th through the 17th? No, the 14th through the 17th is Gamescom. You said your volume is low?
See?
I don't remember how to do that.
Kale comes back, my volume's low again.
I don't remember how to
No
update your volume. I don't know what I gotta do.
No respect around here. So yeah, if you guys want to see some sweet pictures from TI4, at Skyzen on Twitter. Bam. I'll probably take like 4 pictures. 4. That's 3 more than I usually take at events. And maybe it'll actually be of something.
Maybe.
Just keep your eye out.
Well, whatever.
Did you find a way
If
to turn me
you're-
up?
I turned up my system volume, so that might have turned you up a little bit. Sorry if Colin is low. Sorry, guys. Sorry, YouTube. You can be upset if you managed to get past this part. You probably skipped ahead. No one likes weekend gaming on YouTube. Where we at next? EVO?
Yeah, we talked about EVO.
Let's go to EVO.
It was the other big event this past weekend.
EVO! So I know the results. If you guys didn't see the results, I know the results. I watched. I got to finish watching Smash. Watching Marvel. Chris let me down. If you remember last week, what did I say? Chris, I want you to, you've been practicing your heart out. I need you to perform for me. I need you to do some things. He did not do any things.
It's alright though. Because Justin Wong say Marvel. From the cheap shit that is Morgan and Phoenix.
There are the results if you don't know. Yeah, I mean, Justin Wong continues to not play cheap and win, so what can you say?
Only person running Storm. Still.
And winning.
Still
I love it.
Storm.
I love it. I still want him. I wanted Chris to win. I mean, I wanted Chris to win.
16. Yipes got top 16.
Yeah.
Good shit. He almost wasn't going to be commentating. What the hell? That would have been disappointing, actually.
Those results are interesting. Mango with the victory in Smash. Again, if no one needs to tell me about the matches, I don't even want to hear anything about Smash because I didn't get a chance to watch much Smash. That's going to be my go-to. There was a couple matches that it was Monkey Man versus it was Marvel. Monkey Man versus Rico. I can't remember who it was. Dude had no health, just no health. Right, gets him down like all the way down to I don't know, whatever it was, less than him, and he timed up right as he finished the animation of the move to take down that health. The time up thing came up and he won, and then the dude like Monkey Man choked and lost, and then it was like the best match I had saw. It was awesome. Other than that, I mean, that was my Marvel vs. Capcom, like the highlight of my match because Christy just disappointed me. There was another match, a series of matches actually. Colin, you mentioned the one with I keep wanting to say Luffy. Is it Luffy? Luffy.
It's Luffy.
Luffy on a tear, Super Street Fighter 4. Ultra Street Fighter 4. Just ridiculous, right? Like, oh my god, how crazy was it? Like his Rose game was just so fresh. It was nice.
And first pad player to win.
Yes, I mean that was just great. Now, Colin, I said now it was kind of diverse, but I said what I said. I said the Asians were going to come over, specifically folks from Japan, were going to come over and wreck shop. And I want to say top 8 was like 5 Japanese.
4. Hold on.
I
guess it's 5. You're right.
5. Now, what did I say? I feel like you need to give me a little bit of credit right now. It's 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You need to give me a little bit of credit
for saying the Japanese are good at Street Fighter?
No. I said that.
Credit for saying the Japanese.
I said that they were going to come over and wreck shop.
You tried to claim that you made the great
No.
prediction that the Japanese would do well.
I said that they were going to do very well. Disrupt that whole scene.
Japanese do well at Street Fighter. Whoa, really? I had no idea.
You need to give me a little bit of credit. I just feel like that top 8 was very heavy favorite for one country.
Where were they at on Marvel, though?
That's fine.
Where were they at on Marvel?
That's fine.
Nowhere.
I think that's acceptable.
They were nowhere at Marvel.
Snake Eyes, Footsie's too strong. I'm trying to remember what else from that was kind of stood out to me. I mean, Luffy, who was Snake Eyes Luffy? Is that who it was?
Yeah, I actually really like that match.
That was a great match.
Well, that match was okay, but the one before that with Ricky Ortiz and Snake Eyes was probably my favorite match from the top.
Favorite match? I would.
Pretty good.
That was a pretty good match.
It was different, but it was good.
The finals was kind of, I mean, other than Luffy obviously coming back from losers to overthrow Bonchan. I don't know if that's how you name. Yeah, I mean, Bonchan was just like, after he lost like 2, and then it went to that new series, he was just done. Like, it looked like he wasn't even trying, right? It was like everything he did was wrong. There was one streak where he won a round, or he won a set, right? And then because he was up, Luffy was up 2-0, and then Bonchan got that one, and then I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna turn into something, and then Luffy was like, nope, done. There's a couple though. It was a couple close calls in that finals match, but overall, man, it was interesting, and you know, a lot of people were hyped when Luffy won as you said, I think it was from France.
Yeah, he's French.
To be exact, the first French player to win an EVO.
I want to say first European was the definitive. Europe doesn't usually show up.
Yeah, so I was thoroughly impressed. Thoroughly impressed.
You didn't see the BlazBlue finals, did you?
I didn't watch.
That was the best set of the tournament.
Seriously?
Yep. You need to just go watch it. It was
All right.
Galileo and Dogura. I can never say it right. But they were going nuts. Some crazy finishes. This dude was on the ropes like 7 times. He was on the ropes.
Coming back?
By far the best. And that was the first finals of the day, and I think it had the highest prize pool of all the events because the developer put up 30 grand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That was how they opened up the day, and it was the best series. And then it went to like Killer Instinct, which was kind of boring. Sorry, Killer Instinct. And then Smash, which I'm not a fan of. But man, it started off hot. Did you watch any of Smash?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch any of the finals. I watched it, I mean, some of the early stuff, but it was like none of it is interesting until final day for me. Occasionally, you'll catch a match like that one I was mentioning on Marvel. That was a Saturday match, and I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, this is crazy." And I watched a couple more matches, and then I was like, I don't really care till finals, and then I stopped watching. So, chat, I mean, I really want to know what you guys thought about EVO. Obviously, you know, we're big esports guys, so we watch everything. I don't know how many people watch the event. It seems like a lot of you guys in the chat watching. What was your favorite matches? I saw someone mention Snake Eyes. Is that Shin versus Snake Eyes? I never remember. I was messing up on his name last year. Yeah. He had a disappointing finish. He was like 25th or something like that. Did you see that?
Lower than that, I think.
His Akuma was not doing work.
He was 17th side.
17th?
Yeah, 17 to 24. Got blown up in Marvel, though. Just saying.
Last match of Axe versus Silent Wolf in Smash. Damn it. Pure destruction. Smug didn't get top 8. K-Brad, 4 stocked in under a minute. Damn. How do you get 4 stocked in a minute? Under a minute. Snake Eyes versus Luffy.
How are you guys gonna say that Killer Instinct was exciting? Sorry, that game is boring.
You just gotta play it, Colin. Just gotta play it a little bit. Smuggles.
Just saying. There's just no comebacks, you know what I mean? Like, there's hardly any comebacks in KI.
Not really. I mean, because once you get into a combo, it's like... I mean, this is like that with any game, though. Like, Marvel's the same way. You get into a combo...
Marvel has X Factor, man.
That's true. But...
and meter. Like, between the two of those.
Almost came back. You're getting blown up in the beginning.
Yeah, Smash Finals was pretty good. Hungrybox kind of came out of nowhere. Obviously, he's a good player, but everyone expected it to be Mango Armada Finals. Hungrybox almost took the whole thing.
I gotta watch. Rest were on point. Doesn't sound like Hungrybox will forever be an underdog.
I just can't believe that dude stands, man. There's no way. Just stands for all of his games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your productivity is supposed to raise when you get those standing desks, man. So he just must be of the mentality. I'm gonna just start standing when I stream.
Only time I had to stand was when we did that Fight Night tournament, and my feet were just like tapping. Like, you know how I tap my fucking feet when I play?
Yeah.
But like trying to stand and tap foot, that's rough.
That's why you know you gotta have the fire. You just gotta be like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. It did take you several hours to qualify when standing up.
Exactly. You gotta have that fire. You gotta be ready. And what are we on now?
I was disappointed with the viewer numbers for EVO. I don't know. It's kind of rough to say because it was like the same day as the World Cup. You had Dota going on. You had a couple other smaller tournaments going on for like StarCraft. But I was kind of disappointed with viewer numbers.
Really?
It was at like the highest I saw was like 150-ish.
That's not. I mean, what were you
That was kind
expecting?
of generous.
I thought it was. I mean, I saw over 100 a couple times, so
These days, I thought it would have broken 200.
I would say here's where I think I could genuinely be disappointed is, this was the biggest representation, right, of like all these countries of their players coming. And with Dota, you see a lot of like people, like you'll see people sitting down to watch streams on Dota from their countries, and maybe that wasn't the same for Street Fighter. I mean, it's just really hard to tell. And there's just so many games. It seems like they would have maybe a little bit more numbers, but again, here's the thing with that is like it's always spread out, right? Like they always have like 5 different channels. I mean, it's hard for me to say that when Dota does the same thing.
EVO just had two. It was
Did
like
they?
main stage and off stage.
I should
Or
have
side stage.
swore I saw 4.
And then,
Maybe I'm just thinking of Dota.
yeah, on the last day they only have the one because it's just.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
So-
I don't know. I thought it would be higher. I mean, they did have. I think they said 10,000 people at the event, and all those competitors and everything. And the views of the crowd, obviously, it was packed.
I got to watch.
But I still would have thought it would have been 200K, 300. I didn't think there's probably a Japanese streaming site too.
Yeah, look at that. We're streaming Ultra and had 250K.
That's not bad.
There you go, Colin. That's what I thought. I thought there was a lot of streams. Whatever.
Was there? I don't know.
That's what I thought. Sitting there watching the channel thing when they pop up at the very beginning because Twitch sends out that email.
Right. Okay.
Let me change this. I'm rusty on this stuff, so
Wow.
it takes me a little bit. I gotta remember. What's the next topic?
We
Is
talk
it
about the other tournament?
TI4?
Yep.
TI4. It's all Colin. I didn't watch that much. Stuck with my newbie stream, and I watched a little bit of. I watched a couple highlights, but I think maybe I watched one full set. The funny thing is, I ended up going into Dota. I find it more enjoying to go into the Dota client and watch some of the matches there.
It's nice. Whenever I could, I did that.
So there's a couple times during lunch, like I watched a couple of games. I watched Cloud9, LGD,
Okay.
and who else did I watch? I watched one other one. I can't remember who it was.
The big story from the weekend was that Alliance got eliminated. They were the champions last year. They finished 6-9 in groups, and just didn't look very good throughout most of it. So they played, it was like 120 matches in 4 days. Was the group stage. I linked the phase 2 in the thing, which breaks down everyone's results. A lot of the American teams that came out strong on the first day didn't hold up for the most part. But Evil Geniuses did sneak out a top 2. So that's the big U.S. team to watch at the event. They're probably a favorite to get top 3. But they're going to have a tough time in their matches regardless because everyone's so freaking good this year. Like, really, there's like, of the 8 teams remaining, I'd say like 7 of them have a legitimate chance to win the event.
I would agree with that.
And the only one I'd leave out is Cloud9, just because they're not as experienced. They haven't won like a major event.
I like Cloud9 after watching them play. Like I've watched a couple of their matches now, and I genuinely like find myself like wanting them to do well.
Yeah, no, I'd say they're the biggest underdog of the group, pretty definitively. Navi is the other one that I consider underdog, just because they have not been performing very well. But they're also like a big wild card to do really well once it gets to the main event, just because of their experience, I would think. And they've made loser bracket runs before. So on Sunday and Monday, they did like these little mini brackets that seeded into the event, where the loser of the first match was out. The loser of the second match was like the low seed, and the loser of the third match was their opponent. Flipped, of course. And then if you won, you got into the winner bracket. So
Right.
Team DK came out on Sunday. They beat Cloud9, and then Newbie just stomped over Titan, Navi, and Invictus Gaming to take the other spot. So they were on fire. Like, if they just played the whole tournament on Monday, Newbie would have been your TI champions. They were doing that well. The viewer numbers ended up, I think it was like when they started the streams on Thursday, I think it was.
Thursday.
It was Wednesday or Thursday. They hit like 850,000 people total between all the streams and the in-game client and everything.
Damn.
There was like a screenshot of 850. Obviously, it went down because they were playing so many matches that really didn't necessarily have consequence. You know, there wasn't much hype when you're playing 120 games.
Right.
And then by the time we got to like Sunday and Monday, it was sitting around like 250, 300. So I think they'll probably break 1 million pretty easily once they start matches up on Thursday or Friday. But yeah, it seemed like everything went pretty well. I was enjoying the mainstream that they had, which was like the multicast, where they would have one feature game, because they had 4 games going at a time, so they'd have one feature game, and then they kept on showing highlights from the other 3 games that were in progress to kind of keep you filled in of the general course of those games.
Right.
And the way Dota works, like once a team is really ahead, you kind of know the match is over. So as long as you get some info, you can kind of get an idea of how the match played out. So I was able to follow most of the games by having that up while I was at work and then at home on Saturday and Sunday. And you said you watched the newbie stream a bit.
Yeah, I watched that. I mean, there's no matches that I really remember because I'm always so focused on what they're saying, so I can kind of follow some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Rather than the teams that are playing. But generally, we talked about it. Was it last week? I think we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
But when they first started off, it was like the guys that were talking weren't very good. The audio was jacked up, all that stuff. And then since then, it's been really good, and at least in my opinion, for explaining the game. And what we mentioned is like no one else is really doing that. You know what I mean? Like
no one.
Even at like some of the games where it's point click shoot. Call of Duty's a good example. Point click shoot. Halo. Point click shoot. There's no one that really explains the level of depth of gameplay, and I think there's a lot of commentators that understand that, but it's not something that has really been explored until this international event, and I love it. Like it is awesome. Yep. Especially for a game like this. What really could have benefited from it was, remember when World of Warcraft was like in esports scene quite a bit? Like that was a game that really needed people to explain what the hell was going on. I feel like this is a little bit easier based on how the map and stuff is laid out, but
also generally is graphically. Wow.
Yeah. And I think the only other game where I'd say there's a little bit of that, but it hasn't been fine-tuned, is StarCraft. Like, I feel like if you had the same type of explanations, newbie things about what's going on, what are people doing, why is he doing this, like, that would be excellent. Right. So it's definitely something that I think more, if it's developers or whoever's hosting the event, like MLG or whatever, this is something they need to be interested in doing for the future, because I think that gets people that might not watch interested in watching and following it, at least staying in it longer than otherwise. And I also found like the chat was less hostile, right? Like people would ask questions
for a bit, and I was surprised at just how tame
it was good.
Like, I mean, part of it's like I think that a lot of the guys that would normally be dicks in chat aren't in that stream because they know everything. Like, and the fact that it's called a newbie stream, like, oh, I don't need to be in there. Like, that's not for me. So I think it probably helps bet in that way a lot. Also, just smaller viewer numbers. It wasn't the mainstream.
Yeah.
So it had like 8,000, which is somewhat manageable if people aren't talking very much. So yeah, personally, like, if you guys, I'm sure other people watching this, there's a lot of people that don't play Dota, have never played Dota, have probably zero interest in Dota. But I imagine that if you watch the show regularly, you're at least a little bit interested in the competitive, like, esports side of things. So this weekend, like, when they start matches on, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I believe. No, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
I had to think about it. So when they start matches on Friday, download the client now. Go ahead and download Dota 2. It's free. You can get it off Steam. Just go ahead and search Dota 2, download it, install the client, boot it up. You can configure your settings real quick, and you can close it if you want. You don't even have to play any games. And then when they start streaming on Friday or Saturday, boot it up, click on the Watch tab, find the match. You'll see at the top there's like the International, and you click the button, select the match, load from in-game, select the newbie commentary. It'll give you like a prompt of all the different commentators. Select the newbie commentary stream, and then you can watch from in-game as the match is going. If anything comes up, you can actually rewind the game at the bottom and rewatch it again, hear the commentary again. You can break off the commentators and kind of like mouse over skills and items and stuff to see what they do and kind of start learning the game a bit that way. But the whole thing is just super slick, and it's an experience just messing with the tools and kind of seeing like this is how it's done well, in my opinion. Like this is how it should be the standard for every game. And I'd recommend watching it that way. And of course, tune into the main stream to watch the fucking stadium of people cheering him on.
Colin will be in there.
Which I'll be there. Yeah.
Again, if you're on YouTube right now, you guys need to follow Colin at Skyzen on Twitter, because I'm expecting pictures. I'm expecting the stadium shot showing all the people with the stages. It's gonna be nice.
4 of them. 4 pictures. Think about that. I'm gonna space them out too, so you have to wait for them.
4 pictures.
Yeah, 1 picture each day I'm there. So yeah, like check out the event. And there's a lot of tools to learn the game if you have no idea. There's a lot of people that'll be watching that also haven't played the game, just because it's such a massive event. It's gonna be at the top of Twitch, and all these different news sites. So like you won't be alone in that aspect, and you can enjoy the game pretty easy. So that's all I got.
That's CI4.
Next week.
There you go.
10 mil. Every team that's qualified for the top 8 is getting 500K.
10 mil.
Every team at this point is getting 500K. Ridiculous. Get
Playing the wrong game.
Do you want a real autograph or do you want a digital autograph? Because you can actually get a little item that's like an autograph from a player or a community maker, and you can apply it to items in Dota. I'll have that at the event.
This is kind of gaming news. It's a gaming news segment. Leapfrog, Colin, announcing a gaming console for kids.
They already have one.
I know.
That's what Leapfrog was.
But now they have a new and improved gaming console for kids. The only reason I thought this is worthy of discussion as of right now is because I feel like there hasn't really been, and this is more of a deeper gaming discussion. I don't want to get too far in it because I want to get this MOBA stuff, but I don't really feel like there's really a highly tuned, focused games for education type thing going on. And so seeing Leapfrog, and they've been at it for a while, seeing Leapfrog come forward and say, yeah, we want to do this thing for kids. I think it's $150. I think that's just a little pricey. Like, you come down to $99, maybe we're talking you hit $79.99, you got me sold. But I like the idea and concept behind it. There's a couple I automatically assume that like these games would be obviously something that's not going to hold an adult's attention, right? So, it's probably going to not be that cool. But they have a couple similarities with like Connect. There's some Wii stuff in there. But the premise of it is like learning, right? And I think they announced that they're going to have over 100 games or something like that, or would want to when the games or when the console actually launches. I'm kind of wondering who is developing for it. I think this is my first question. How much does it cost? Which I wasn't sure if I saw that in the article. I don't remember reading it. I had to refresh my mind. Yeah. So how much the games are going to cost, if anything. And how long are they planning on supporting it would be my top questions. Like, if this is like a one-time thing, there's like no system updates, they're just going to put it out there, you buy it, maybe it's good for a little while, then they stop supporting it, then that seems like $150. Like, I could buy a Wii right now for $150 and we can get that exercise game and I'll read to my daughter what's happening on screen. Boom, Leapfrog. I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep it concise, Colin. I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to keep it straight to the point.
This controller, it looks
Because
like do you remember the toy called? Do you remember the Bop It toy? With the like different appendages that you twist and squeeze and pull and bop.
Bop it.
That's what it looks like. I kid you not. Pull this up,
Shake
everyone.
it.
Look up Leap TV. look up Leap TV. It looks like a Bop It controller. How is anyone gonna take that seriously?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
It's pretty cool though how it bends in, so you can have like the traditional like joystick. What's one joystick and then two buttons? It looks like just kind of weird. But then it also turns into a Bop It controller, and there's like a Kinect-looking sensor. It looks like camera, and then a weird space disc monolith chip console-looking thing.
I had no idea.
Did you have a Leapfrog as a kid?
No.
Yeah, me either.
To be honest, I don't even know. When did Leapfrog come out?
It's too poor. It would have been like late '90s, I believe.
I was probably too old at that point. Carrington didn't have one.
They were like under some bucks, if I remember right.
Carrington wanted whatever I wanted.
But like they sold the thing, it was like I don't know, it was like a tablet, but then you like place the book inside of it pretty much, and you'd be able to flip it through. And then it would be like an interactive book essentially.
You know what I don't get is like, I want to say again, I don't want to go too far on this, but I feel like Leapfrog, and maybe this was version 1, they had like $100 computer, right? It was the same guys, right?
They've apparently, no, you're thinking of shit.
It was the $100 computer aimed at African kids.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like the one laptop per child stuff.
Yeah.
And the XO,
if anyone,
it was the XO.
XO, okay, all right.
Yeah, that's completely different.
All right.
I'm trying to find you a picture of Leapfrog. It's the original. The Leap Pad, I think is what it was called.
All right, I'm gonna change this topic.
Look at the controller, guys.
I'm not looking at the controller.
It's ridiculous.
I've already seen the controller, and I didn't want to talk about the controller.
There's the Leap Pad. I just put in chat.
Okay. We can just talk about this other stuff while you're going MOBA Craze. Kids play with them for a week. Now they are all about the 360. See? I feel like it's just a stepping stone for for the next console. Like, here's the funny thing.
It's a gateway drug.
Yeah, pretty much. My cousin, Colin, I can't remember if you met him, but my cousin, who he's like 5 years younger than me, maybe 6 years younger than me. He grew up playing Ocarina of Time, right? So he was 3 years old playing Ocarina of Time nonstop, and dude was reading by the time he was 4 because of that game. Like, he just started reading Ocarina, like he was just nonstop playing it, and then all of a sudden he was reading what was on the screen and was like, "Whoa, what?"
Yeah. And
dude was playing StarCraft at 6. I was like, it's crazy.
I'm trying to think. That might have been like games had to have been pretty early for me too, as far as like what I was reading. I imagine that's probably like that for a lot of people. I never thought about that.
Yep, I'm telling you. MOBAs!
Why can't I find this? Alright, so I want to talk about MOBAs for a bit, because today another one got announced. If anyone's keeping track, please, go ahead, let me know the number. Because I would start making a list, but I know I'm missing some. I'm trying to get a...
You don't have Heroes of the Storm on that? Oh wait, yes you do.
Yeah,
it's in that list at the bottom.
I just put the third-person action ones as a separate category, and there's still a lot. It's insane. All right, I got links now. Maybe. Okay, so announced today was Gigantic, from a new developer, Motiga, which features a lot of the devs behind StarCraft 1 and Guild Wars 1. and apparently also like a lot of the like test team or like alpha testers from Guild Wars, like a really big Guild Wars contingent, I guess, from the PvP.
Okay.
So there's a link to the announcement, and the other link here is to a long interview that actually has some pre-alpha gameplay in there, just like they actually are playing a match. So it's a third-person action MOBA game where they kind of the twist is that it's it's more like a MMO in the sense there's WASD controls and third-person character movement, as well as like the usual hero selection, and then instead of a base, it's actually like a very huge ancient creature that is your base that kind of moves around the map. They have a picture of a like dragon on a sword and a big thing running through the woods. And it's hard to explain. Hard to explain. Watch the trailer. Anyways, I just want to bring it up. If you want to check it out, feel free. I put the links in chat. This is called Gigantic, which is now the like 4th or 5th MMO announced in the past 2 months, I believe.
Come on, let's be real. Like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been pretty much yeah.
Because E3 we had like a couple announcements that were MOBAs that week. That was June, the 2nd week of June, pretty much. So
yeah. So here's my current list. This is just what I came up with very quickly off the top of my head for the most part. These are all like they're not just doing MOBAs. This is like Battleborn, which is a first-person action shooter MOBA. Battleborn. Gigantic was just announced. Minimum is the one which Kale and I talked about on the show quite a bit, where it's like a build your own character armor shooter third-person MMO or
highly imbalanced
Dota MOBA. Smite, which is probably the biggest, most established one. I don't know if they've actually officially released.
Yeah, they. I don't know if they were officially released.
That's third-person, action-oriented. And Super MNC was like the old original third-person action one, and the original Mighty Knight Combat, I'd say, was like the spawn of all of these, really.
Yeah.
As far as the non-strategy MOBA, and then Battlecry has some MOBA elements, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a MOBA. It's like 32 players, so that I don't know if it falls in the same group. In addition to that, there's also in development, these are all more top-down, traditional MOBA type games. Strife, Sins of a Dark Age, Infinite Crisis, Dawngate, Heroes of the Storm. I know I'm missing like 4 or 5 other ones.
This is without saying League of Legends and Dota 2, obviously.
Yeah, the 2 big ones, or Heroes of New Earth, which always gets forgotten in the mix.
There's also a couple mobile MOBAs as well. There's that one that came out.
Solstice something, which was the one from
it's like a 3-player MOBA.
That was the Zynga one, and then there was Solstice Arena, and then
that's it.
Is the Witcher one, which just came out, which is also, or I don't know if it came out or if it's coming out, but it's also mobile only. So like, there's a whole mobile trend for it too right now for like 2 or 3 player ones. They're kind of like mini-sized, and then you have all these other ones. So all of these are coming out in the next like 2 or 3 years. That is insane.
I'm over it.
It's insane.
I think I'm gonna try Battleborn, right?
I'm gonna try most of them.
I like Smite.
Yep.
Smite was probably because I didn't get in the league. I wasn't convinced. I like Dota. It's too leaguish for me. And Smite was like the one that hit home for me. But like, no, you guys don't like it, so. And I don't want to feel like playing it by myself. I mean, Tens will play. I mean, it's like there's nothing else. Strife is the same thing. I am kind of hyped for Heroes of the Storm. I will say that from that list. So I mean, from there, everything else kind of looks like the same. Here's my question: like, how many times are you going to try to make a MOBA before realizing that the market is saturated and that like you're just pulling the same people, and then eventually they all go back to the 2 big daddies or 3 big daddies and play those respective games? Like, how long is it going to take before people realize, okay, we got to do something different?
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of them are hesitant to even call themselves MOBAs or like are trying to distance themselves from the phrase. It's just the knowledge that like that market is already pretty much claimed. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if that term is used to describe League and Dota, then the market is claimed. But they're trying to kind of pitch it as like a action game with MOBA elements in the way of heroes and leveling, but also trying to be like, but it's also like a shooter and a co-op game.
Right.
It's some of them can actually legitimately claim it. Like Battlecry, I don't think is a MOBA, despite having some similarities. But a lot of them also are just like blatantly doing the same formula. And it might be good. Someone might be good. I enjoyed MNC a ton. The first one, Super MNC, not so much. But like the format of class-based gameplay, base versus base with like creep waves and lanes and stuff, like that works as a shooter as well as a top-down. Like the format doesn't necessarily matter.
Right.
As far as like the type of game it is, it just works because of the way that it's set up. So like if the games are interesting and like they have unique character designs, and most importantly, like if it's a shooter, it has to be a good shooter first. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which is really the big question for most of these games: is it a good shooter or is it a good action game? And then you can kind of like, okay, does it work as a MOBA or does it work with this rule set?
I'm still like, Monday Night Combat was the pinnacle for me for the shooter. I mean, I just don't feel like anything is going to come close. And even if it does, like, generally speaking, and I mentioned this last week, I have very large concerns about trying to introduce shooter mechanics into this MOBA thing and getting people all hooked into that progression loop and making them feel good about themselves. But at the end of the day, like, if you can't point, click, and shoot, you're going to get your ass whooped, like,
Right.
bad. Like, and there's just no way around that from a shooter standpoint. So that's just a hard sell for me. There's just no
the
way.
pitch that I heard for Battleborn was like, yeah, if you aren't into a certain type of play style and you pick something else that kind of is more your cup of tea, like if you, for example, can't track someone with the assault rifle, maybe you want to be the archer instead and can do the slower pace shots instead because that's what you're good at. It's like, no, those are kind of the same skill sets.
Right.
And if you're not playing with the right people, like really, I just wonder how many of these games are going to get the matchmaking wrong. Because that's what I've seen time and time again with these types of games. If you don't get the matchmaking right, you lose.
Yeah.
Like as a game. Smite had lots of problems with it early on. Super MNC had lots of issues with that to a point where there was like no one left after not very long. So I don't know. We'll see how they handle it. Again, like I'm excited for some of these games, but at the same time, like there's no way these can all be successful. There's just no way.
There's just not enough. It's like trying to come out like Madden was top dog, right? It's like trying to come out. Can you guys imagine they're trying to be 5 different NFL games at once? Like
There was for a little bit.
And then what happened?
Well, and then EA.
And then Madden EA did their power move, but ultimately what happened? Like Blitz is no longer a game.
More about the license, but yeah.
Blitz is no longer a game. NFL 2K tried, even if their knockoff didn't do that well. NBA stuff didn't really last. Like shooter wise is almost the same situation. Like how many shooters have come and gone? How many of them actually have communities outside of Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, TF2, Battlefield? Like name me a couple other games that are shooters that have significant populations right now. I'll wait.
You could argue Halo.
I'll wait.
But yeah, Combat Arms.
Yeah, I guess that is one.
Combat Arms probably has higher daily active users than Halo 4.
Yeah. Combat Arms and then Crossfire. I guess are the other
ahead
ones.
Of all of those, really. But yeah, I mean, I compare it more to the MMO Gold Rush, where like 5 years ago, everyone was making MMOs. There was a different MMO coming out every 2 or 3 months, and there was just no market for it because everyone was playing on the 2 or 3 biggest ones, and then everything else had nothing.
Right.
And it was such an expensive development process to make all those assets and all those tools, and be able to crank out a full populated universe that is large enough to compete with WoW. Like, a lot of those companies went bust almost right away. And a lot of those MMOs are still clinging to life or dead. It's just a graveyard of MMOs. I feel
Again,
like it's going to be really similar with this MOBA craze. I've already seen a few die. And that was just the tip of the iceberg, I think.
yeah, I
There's
mean,
so many, especially these ones that are just direct copies of League or Dota. Like, those are the
and
ones I feel like have no chance.
Loaded said it a second ago. I think the only one, literally the only one, Colin, that I think will even make a dent is Heroes of the Storm. That's literally the only one. Maybe Battleborn, but I see that as being one that gets a big spike and then just downward spiral, like massive. I just don't see another one like Strife. I played that. Nope. Infinite Crisis, played that. Garbage. Dawn Gate, nope. Heroes of the Storm is the only one that is interesting to me because it's Blizzard, because they have success doing this, because pretty much this whole MOBA thing is because of Blizzard, right? Like, without Blizzard, there is no MOBA. So, I mean, if anyone could pull it off, or at least, make something that is compelling, I think it would be them. But, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's another one where, like, you're just going to be against the content wall, you know?
Yeah.
If you release a game with 20 heroes, that was fine for League of Legends at launch and, like, Dota in, like, its initial beta. But nowadays, you're being compared against those two that have hundreds of options to learn and experience as different playstyles.
Yeah.
Plus, each game has gone through hundreds of updates already, polishing and tuning and becoming extremely fine-tuned to be that type of game. So now you're fighting against that, and you have to create that in less time to get out ahead of this wave of other games.
Yeah, Loaded. That's the other thing is, like, what also goes into their favor, not only is it Blizzard, Narf, right, and Loaded, not only is it Blizzard, but the cast that they have from the game is people that we all know, right? Like, I know, all of who's Diablo's in there, like, right? I mean, from Diablo. Tyrael, yeah. I mean, they're all in the game. We know who they are, and I think that helps. Versus a lot of other games, like, I don't know what character that is, dude. I mean, it looks cool, but I don't know who that is. I can't relate to that character because I've never played with him. Whereas Dota and League have kind of built up, like you said, they have that content wall that they're just stockpiling, right? And people are in that universe, and that's who they relate to. And so, like, when you hear comparisons, they go, oh, that character plays like such and such from this game. Oh, that character plays like such and such from, and it's either League or Dota, plays like such and such from this game. And that's how I've heard people talk about some of the other MOBAs out.
And same thing. If you go esports, you're gonna be compared to League and Dota. Like, if that's your edge, is be like, yeah, we're gonna be the competitive MOBA. It's like, really? Okay.
This is again another point for Blizzard. The only company,
the only one that can legitimately try.
Exactly.
Although they're not saying that.
Exactly. So. They're not. They've been kind of hush hush about it. The only one that can legitimately say, okay, we're gonna feel this and have the funds to do it is Blizzard. Like, that's the only studio.
And the experience.
Yep.
Of dealing with that stuff before. So yeah, I agree.
It's the one that makes the most sense to me right now. Other than that, I mean, there's not too much else I wanted to hit. I do have a couple things in here and kind of talk about. I do want to kind of get questions since I'm on camera. I get to talk to you guys, get to see the chat, I get to see what's going on. So I kind of want to hit a Q&A, and I'll just kind of ramble on a couple of things that we have in here that are extra.
Oh, while we're doing this, LeBron.
He's home, baby.
He's home. We had called it. Well, we didn't really call it.
We call it. We said it'd be nice.
We said it'd be nice and possibly likely. I like the fact that he went to Sports Illustrated. Like, that's classy as shit.
Yep.
With all the ESPN hoopla. That was the part I liked the most, because I was just reading, like, sources say, blankety blank. Sources say. My confidential source says this. Oh, it wasn't true? Huh, I guess he was wrong.
just such liars.
Yep. So I see SI break it.
So there's a couple things I wanted to just kind of, as again, guys, feel free to pop in questions when you guys want. But I wanted to talk very briefly about the possibility of the future of gaming, right? And I had the thought, when we talk about MOBA Craze, what's happening, what's on the horizon, what is compelling, and I feel like the next big thing is like this mass interaction. Well, there's two, right? I feel like there's this No Man's Sky type thing that's going on. I feel like that's going to lead to some type of immersive gameplay where worlds now become procedurally generated type things are going to kind of crop up a little bit more, and we see these worlds where people are exploring a lot more. I think that's going to be a thing. But the other one is massive interaction with games on a large scale, something like Twitch plays Pokemon type ordeal. Like I feel like and Quantum Break and what's the other name of that game? These are really bad. Well, I don't know about Quantum Break, but the other one is Tryon, MMO, third person, Defiance.
Yeah.
Where people are able to interact and have an impact on something. Now I don't know if that's going to be the game or it's going to be like TV or whatever. I feel like that's going to be the next big push in addition to like VR stuff. But it's just interesting when we talk about what's possible in the game space right now, and all these people are biting on MOBA or biting on survival horror / building Minecraft stuff, right? Like DayZ or Rust or things of that nature. What is the next, what's the evolution of that? Where are we going to be right now? I think No Man's Sky is the only one that is really compelling to me when we talk about the scope of what's possible in gaming, right? Like open-ended, potentially truly open-ended